Hey everybody, it's Andrew Martin coming to you with a new video. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday here in Brooklyn, although it may not be Saturday when you're actually watching this, but it's Saturday nonetheless. I hope that you are happy and healthy and thriving wherever you are. And for those of you who have been watching me for a while, this video may seem like a bit of a departure, and if this is your first introduction to me, then you may see, contrasted with my other videos on my YouTube channel, that this one is a bit different, only in the sense that I am specifically directing this one at my gay brothers in the gay community. And I want to make it clear that, I'm not doing this to be exclusive. I'm not trying to exclude everybody else, but I think that, as a gay man who has found truth and connection and meaning and purpose in my life, I think speaking from my specific story is the most powerful thing that I can do. And I have been feeling the past couple of years, and I've known, intuitively, that at some point I would be working with gay men and working with the gay community. And the idea to do this in some capacity has come through my awareness and come into my field several times over the past couple of years, but it's never been quite time until now. And if you've been watching me for a while, that the cornerstone of my video content and really the work that I do is about being really honest and really open about my own journey and who I am and where I come from and what I've gone through and what I've learned about myself and what I have conquered and made peace with and learned to love about myself. But I've never really spoken specifically from the perspective of a gay man to other gay men. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I get the sense intuitively and empathically, and I see it reflected in so much of what is happening on the planet right now, and specifically in our own community, that there are so many of us who are still looking for answers. There are so many of us who are feeling dissatisfied and disenfranchised and disconnected, and that we don't know who we really are, and that we feel at odds with our life. I think that the past 10 years, 15 years, we have seen so much progress. We've been fighting for marriage equality, and for the most part, or at least in many countries, that fight has been won. We've been fighting for better health care, and we've been fighting for access to freedoms and liberties that many people take for granted. We've been fighting to have a voice. We've been fighting to be seen. We've been fighting to be heard. And no, that journey is not done yet. There are still plenty of places on this planet where being gay is something that can get you killed. But we have made progress nonetheless. But I see that many of us, we've been trudging up the hill for so long, trying to reach the top of the mountain, trying to get to that holy grail. And we get there and we say, is this it? Right? We've got the husband, we've got the car, we've got the kid, we've got the job, we've got the dog, we've got the body, we've got the wardrobe, we've got the amazing zip code, we've got the amazing, circle of friends, we've got whatever. And yet we still have that burning something inside of us that says there's more. And so this is why I'm recording this video, is because I know through my own experience, I know, having grown up as a gay man, I knew I was gay from a very, very young age. In kindergarten is when I had a sense that I liked boys in a way that was different than most other guys liked boys. And growing up in a small town in Wyoming as a gay kid, as an outsider, as being someone who was bullied and teased and, excluded and just really was a target for, the first 18 years of my life until I moved away from home. And then still this sense of not being safe and not being included and not being belonging and not being a part of it. And then struggling so hard and spending so much time and effort and money and energy to gain access to the gay community and to feel and to, get to this promised land where I thought everything was going to be, like this amazing scene out of Tales of the City or whatever, or a male version of Sex and the City or whatever. I don't know. And then to get to the gay community and find that there's still so much judgment and there's still so much exclusion and there's still so much separation and division. And so that's why I'm stepping forward in whatever way I can to help. And the work that I do, everything is based upon, guiding people to the path of freedom and helping them to find that inner connection and that inner truth, helping them to find that place where they don't require validation from the outside world. They don't need to be approved of or accepted, or they find that acceptance and that love within themselves. So that's when they begin to see it in their external world. And so that's why I'm stepping forward. And I've been, toying with this idea in my mind for the past couple of weeks. Like, okay, but what do I say and how do I do it? And what is my point of entry? Like, how do I step forward and say, okay, my gay brothers, I'm here. If you feel that you need help finding that connection, I am here. Or maybe you found that connection and maybe you want to be part of the conversation, and maybe you want to create a new experience within your community where everybody gets a seat at the table, right? Maybe you are no longer in that place of feeling disconnected, but you say, well, how can I help and what can I do? Then this video is also for you. And so I've been thinking like, okay, if I think back on my own experience, I'm 45 now, and about 33 to 35, around my Saturn return, or the end of my Saturn return, was when my shit got real. That was when I was at the lowest point in my life and the most lost and the most angry and the most scared and the most dysfunctional and the most unsure. And, I've shared and been very open with my journey with drugs and alcohol and sexual compulsion. And that was when all of them were raging simultaneously and at like full tilt. And so I've just been thinking like, what would I have wanted to hear? Or if I could go back to 2005 and talk to myself, what would I have wanted to hear? What kind of questions would I have wanted to ask? And what would I have wanted to hear from somebody else? And what kind of dialogue would I have needed? And so that's where I want to begin. And these are the questions that I want to ask you. Do you feel at home in your life? Do you feel content in your experience? And what I mean by that is, can you look yourself in the eye? At the end of the day, can you go to the mirror and stare at yourself very deeply and very in a way that you are very connected and very present with yourself? And are you happy with the life that you're living? And of course, there's always room for improvement. No one's ever going to be, I think, perfectly happy all the time. That's not the point. The point is do you feel like you're living an authentic life? Do you feel like you honor yourself and who you really are? Are you letting yourself be seen as you are? Are you allowing yourself to show up in your life, in your truth, in your authenticity of who you really are and what you really want to be and what you really want to do? Do you accept and love yourself as you are right now? Because you are beautiful as you are. Right now, in this moment, no matter where you are, no matter what's going on, you are bright, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are bigger than you can even imagine. And do you rest in that truth? Do you know how to find that truth? Do you wake up feeling good about yourself? I know what it's like to feel trapped in your life. Trust me, I know what it's like to avoid looking in the mirror because I didn't like what I saw. I was terrified of my life. The phone would ring, someone would ring the buzzer at the doorbell, I would get something in the mail, I would get an email, and I was just terrified of my life because I felt like an imposter. I felt like I was imprisoned by this life that I didn't even really want. 5 years ago, I was in such a dark place, and I know what it's like to be in bed at night and just pray to God, please just don't let me wake up in the morning. I know what that's like. I've been there. And I also know what it took to get to where I am today, which is thriving and happy and satisfied and fulfilled and walking in my purpose and walking in my truth and on that path of freedom where I can actively and consciously and deliberately build a life that feels like paradise. And I know what's required, and we have to start asking these questions of ourselves. Who are you without all the external stuff? Who are you without all the noise? Who are you without your fabulous wardrobe and your beautiful body and your fabulous job and your intelligence and your wit and your charm and your razor sharp tongue and your fabulous brunches and your latest grinder conquest and your party on the weekend at wherever you are. Who are you without all of those things? And I'm not knocking those things. Look, I like nice things too. Even though this shirt looks like a pajama top, I like nice things. I like shoes. I'm looking at my shoe collection right now. I'm looking at my clothes right now. I like good stuff. I like being entertained. I like sitting and watching my Netflix. I'm not saying that any of those things are bad things. I love a good brunch. What I am saying is, are you authentic within that experience? Do you know who you really are? And without all of those things, would you still be happy with who you are? And who are you without this idea that you are broken? Without this idea that you are excluded? Who are you without the pain? Who are you without the struggle? How can we create a life and a community where everyone gets a seat at the table? How can we soften ourselves and let ourselves be vulnerable and let ourselves let the defenses down? Drop the defenses. Drop the drama. Drop the need to be at odds with your experience and allow yourself to be present as you are. The external world is our secondary reality, and the internal world is our primary reality. And the only way we ever create a shift in the external secondary reality is by creating a shift in the internal primary one. Everything that we desire, that we want, that we are so hungry and thirsty for, starts in here. And how can I ever expect to find love and acceptance and inclusion out here when I don't even give that to myself? How would I ever even recognize what it's like to be loved and accepted if I don't even know what it feels like? And how on earth can I expect my world, my external reality, to reflect that when I am at odds and at war with myself? And you are so much more powerful than you know. You are so perfect as you are, and I know this to be true, that who you are is enough. You don't have to do anything to earn it. You are worthy because you are. You are valuable because you are. And you don't need anybody's permission to live that truth except your own, because only you know what truth feels like. And your truth leads you to your purpose, and your purpose guides you to freedom and liberation. And you can have a life that feels like paradise. You can create within yourself a life that feels authentic and true and meaningful, built on love and compassion and inclusion and unity and all of that good stuff. And once you have it in here, you begin to see it reflected to you, back at you by your external reality. And when you change your world and your life, you begin to shift and change the world at large. So how can we live from that? How can we do that? And I know how. I've done it for myself, and I've done it for my clients. And so I'm stepping forward in service of the gay community to say, I don't know where this path leads, but I'm starting by stepping forward as a communicator, as an energy worker, as an intuitive, as a teacher, to say I am here to serve and to help and to guide. So I'm starting this video series. I'm entitling it The Gay Thing because that's just what I've been calling it, right? And that's the intuitive hits I've been getting is, Andrew, hey, it's time to do the gay thing. It's time for you to step forward and show yourself and reveal yourself as a gay man to other gay men and say, I know what it feels like to be on the outside of your life, to feel like an imposter, to feel like a charlatan, and to be terrified that someone's going to find out. And I know how to move through that and get to a place that feels real and true and authentic and powerful. So I'm starting this series of videos with that intention. I'm going to also be doing eventually online groups and online events. And then I will be eventually moving into live events, starting here in New York area, because I live in Brooklyn. But if you're listening to this and this feels real for you and this feels important to you and meaningful for you, then share, like, comment, contact me directly, andrew@thelightedones.com. If you want me to come speak to your group or present or come to your town or your city, let's talk, let's figure it out, because I want to be a part of the change. I want to be a part of coming together as a community and rising back up and saying, look, we don't need the approval or the acceptance of the outside world to do what we came here to do. I don't need you to be okay with what I do for me to be okay with what I do. I have a purpose that is far greater than anything I can imagine, and that's what I came here to do. So at some point, I have to unplug myself from the need for validation and acceptance from what's going on out here because I got to do what I got to do regardless of how anybody else thinks about it, how anybody else feels about it. And when I step forward in that truth and I claim that power and I own it, that's when miraculous things begin to happen. And we've got a lot of work to do. And it starts with the work that we can do internally. It starts by the freedom that comes from unplugging yourself from the need to be validated by an outside source. The freedom that comes from being able to connect to what's going on in here and trust that and know that and draw from that. Nobody can touch that. Nobody can touch that. And nothing can come close to that sense of truth and authenticity that rises up as a result of living from that place. So that's why I'm sharing this video. That's why I'm stepping forward and asking these questions. That's why I want to have this conversation with you. And that's why I want to offer up what I know and what I can do and what I have learned and what I can share. So to be continued. Keep your eyes open, because this is just the beginning of the gay thing. Thanks for watching. I love you. Bye.